The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "To live is to suffer." There's just no avoiding it, even though our culture says that you can. We live in a culture that says to avoid suffering at all costs, or at the very least, numb out from it. But what if our suffering has purpose? What if our suffering can actually be a cause for our joy? What if our suffering can make us participants in the act of redemption? So if you're not Catholic, or if you don't understand what's going on at the Mass, then there's a Bible verse you really need to wrestle with and try and make sense of. And it's Colossians chapter 1, verse 24. In it, St. Paul writes, "Now I rejoice in my sufferings for your sake, and in my flesh I complete what is lacking in Christ's afflictions for the sake of his body, that is the church." I complete what is lacking in Christ's afflictions. What could possibly be lacking in Christ's sacrifice? What's lacking is my sacrifice, is my afflictions, is my suffering. So a few days ago, I had a bit of a snowboarding accident and I completely jacked up my ribs. How could the suffering that I'm feeling right now, albeit as small as it may be, help someone, for example, in Israel or in Ukraine, someone in a war-torn country who really needs help? Outside of the Mass, that doesn't make sense, but inside the context of the Mass, I'm able to unite my suffering to Christ's sacrifice when the Paschal mystery is made present for someone in Israel or in Ukraine. And when I do that, my suffering gives me purpose. My suffering gives me a cause for joy. My suffering makes me a participant in the act of redemption. The worst kind of suffering in this world, my brother, my sister, is wasted suffering. Suffering that you feel like you have to carry by yourself. Suffering that is not united to Christ's Eucharistic sacrifice. Your suffering has so much purpose. Don't waste it.